Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to First Universalist Church, a jazzy morning. Thanks, Sam. My name is Sarah Whitty. I'm the chair of the Board of Trustees this year. I'm so happy to be greeting you all. A warm welcome to our friends gathered here this morning and to everyone who's joined by Zoom this morning. I'm still so glad we can do that. At First Universalist, our mission is to explore our faith, embrace this community, and to engage the world as spiritual seekers. May we take these words to heart. If this is your first time to our congregation, welcome. We invite you to fill out a connection card, which is located in the pew in front of you, so that we can connect you with events and programs that might interest you. You can drop this in the offering plate when it's passed later in the service. We would love to send you our weekly e-newsletter, which is called Channels. For those joining us with young children, nursery care is available during the service for babies and toddlers down at the end of the hall on the left. Following our service, all are invited to join us for coffee hour, our time of friendship and fellowship downstairs in our gathering room. Before our service begins, I have two announcements. First, as you can see, Reverend Hillary is not here. She's on retreat this week. She'll be back in her office on Tuesday and here on Sunday. You can always reach her in the case of emergency. But I'm excited to be leading the worship today with Ann Turner. And next Saturday is our holiday fair, the first one we've had for real indoors since 2019. There are still openings where you can sign up to bring soup or make something, of course, help out. And if you can't get around to making anything, then you can just be one of the heavenly hosts who come to buy things. And now I invite us all to take a deep breath as we settle into this time together. And our music director, Sam Chandler, will play us into worship with a piece called In Your Quiet Place by Keith Jarrett. It's a little longer, so just breathe and enjoy it. Thank you.
Thank you, Sam. We are called to worship this morning by the words of a friend and former member, the Reverend Naomi King. This is her Thanksgiving blessing. Let us join hands and hearts in gratitude on this wondrous day, where we have the abundance of our lives before us. We remember on this day of bounty all those who do not have enough, who are afraid, who are lonely, and who suffer. We wish for the abundance of this world to be shared, for fear to become love, for the lonely to be welcomed, and for the suffering to know rest and joy. For the labor, the love, the care that gave us the delights of this and every day, we say thanks. For the nourishment of our spirit and the challenges that strengthen us and the friends we have on the journey, we sing thanks. For all that is our lives, for all these good gifts, we whisper thanks. Overflowing with gratitude, let us shout thanks. Amen. Please rise in body or spirit and join in singing our opening hymn, which is number 21, For the Beauty of the Earth, and then remain standing afterwards for the unison affirmation, which is printed in your order of worship. We are united in seeking to increase love with justice and to constitute a free church open to all people. Mindful of our past and drawing upon modern knowledge, we respond to the spiritual needs of persons and are devoted to the common good in community, nation, and world. We cherish the integrity of each individual and search for truth with reason as our guide. We respect differences of opinion and strive to be a democratic community. We are concerned with this world and open to the future. You may be seated. And to light our chalice, symbol of Unitarian Universalism around the world. If there are any children who want to help me light the chalice, that would be great. And also, we're going to do something this morning that we have done in the past and invite those children and any who wish to remain up front for Time for All Ages, because we have a story with some pictures. So I invite you to come on up. Remember what we say in your loud voices. That one works better, you think? Ready? We Now, if you want to stay up here, bring the mic. Oops. Yeah, here's the mic. You can sit right here on these steps with us, and you can hold the book. The pictures are pretty little. We have 2 copies. So you can look at the pictures. You can sit right here with us. All right, we can stand. You guys can pass around that book. Okay.
This poem is called In a Japanese Garden by Charmaine Azarapa, first shared with me by Lois Howlett, who used to do yoga classes here. And it talks about change, which is our theme, and how we can be like all those things in the garden, especially when there are changes or surprises or challenges. So Anne Swerdlick and Joy Ahrens are going to help us to read it.
Be the still pool. Let your face reflect the glory, the wonder.
Be the dragonfly, silent but joyful.
Be the bud, prepare to blossom. Be a tree, grant shelter.
Be the butterfly. Accept the riches of the moment. Be the moth. Seek the light. Be the lantern. Guide the lost.
Be the path. Open the way for another.
Be the wind chime. Let the breeze blow through you. Turn the storms into song.
Be the rain. Wash away, cleanse, forgive. Be the grass. Grow back when you are trod upon.
Be the bridge. Reach in peace for the other side.
Be the moss. Temper your strength with softness and mercy.
Be the soil. Bear fruit. Be the gardener. Create order. Be the temple. Let the Spirit dwell in you.
Be the seasons. Welcome change.
Be the pebble. Let time shape and smooth you.
Be the leaf. Fall gracefully when your time comes to let go.
Trust in the circle. To end is to begin. And now, that's the end of the poem, but we'll do our children's blessing with you all. If you can remember I can't do it because I've got a mic, but you guys can do it. We are Unitarian, Universalists, people of open minds, loving hearts, and helping hands. Thank you guys for coming up, and you can sit with your families. We'll see you soon. But they're not going out. That's all right. It's a beautiful piece. It's beautiful. Good. Okay, this is our offering, recognizing our current theme of change. We are sharing this week's offering, it's our half plate, with Maine Inside Out. Led by formerly incarcerated people, MIO's mission is to improve outcomes for youth who are returning home after incarceration. Workshops involve a creative process in which participants learn to identify the root causes of oppression while developing a powerful language to inform and engage the greater community in dialogue about social change. They create and share powerful original theater inside detention centers and in communities across the state. Your offering supports these youth seeking to change their lives. Change. For those in the sanctuary this morning, we'll be passing the offering plate to one another. And for those who are gathered with us online, you are invited to make your offering using the donate button, which is in your order of worship. You can also make an offering anytime by dropping a check in the mail. Thank you. We do have Children's Chapel this morning. Update, newsflash. rise and sing our song of thanksgiving. From thee I receive, to thee I give, together we share, and by this we live. From thee I receive, to thee I give, together we share, and by this we live. Thank you for all you give. We're grateful for all the gifts given and received. We've had so much change in the last few years, including times we couldn't even get together or hug or shake hands. Some of the changes felt traumatic or frightening. Some of it felt liberating. So we began to look at traditions and holidays and communities, all of it with fresh eyes. What parts do we want back? What parts do we want to let go of? Change, like the pandemic, hit all of us everywhere, and we're still figuring out what the impact was for our church, schools, communities, our friends and families. And then other changes are very individual, very quiet, very private. It can take a long time to figure out the impact of those changes too. For example, maybe we've had a really great week or a year, and maybe it's been really easy to be content and grateful and count those blessings. Maybe the turkey or your pie was amazing, and maybe everyone around the table was in a great mood. Anybody? Did anybody actually have that? Did you have a 4-year-old at your table? A fierce little 4-year-old? I did. So anyway, maybe the changes were in your lives were welcome this year and something you'd worked hard for and dreamed of. And what about the other kind of change? Maybe we've had a crushing week or a year. Maybe it's been really hard to see the light at the end of the tunnel. Maybe holidays are just plain hard, or the kids have been sick for weeks and we don't even remember what it's like to feel good in our own bodies. Maybe big changes came into our lives silently or with a bang, and they were really rough. Maybe it's just not okay somewhere inside right now. And it's hard to even say that, because what if we make it even more real? And there's places where it's not okay to say you're not okay, or people maybe think you're not channeling enough positivity. I say, oof, that makes it harder for me. So for some changes and moments in life when we know, yep, things have changed forever, we need time to absorb the blow. And sooner or later, it becomes part of us, something we know, something we understand, something we have in terms of maybe compassion for others who are dealing with that blow. The unwelcome and heartbreaking, life-changing event can turn out to have been a gift of sorts. After her son Edward died, my Aunt Penny, who became a UU minister in her 70s, said that terrible losses come offering beautiful gifts. You probably know these lines from The Prophet by Khalil Gibran. Then a woman said, "Speak to us of joy and sorrow." And he answered, "Your joy is your sorrow unmasked. And the self-same well from which your laughter rises was oftentimes filled with your tears. The deeper that sorrow carves into your being, the more joy you can contain."
Along with many folks in my demographic, in white hair, thinking about change brings to mind words like loss, limits, decline, aging, diminishing. Not exactly words that I would pair with gratitude. In the wonderful company of the wise women in my small group, I have immersed myself in recent years in some writings by some really helpful teachers who have looked at the spiritual growth possible during the aging process and have found some insights as to how I might find myself feeling grateful within, if not grateful for, my changing body. In my field of clinical social work, we often focus during therapy on the narrative we tell ourselves, and we look for ways to revise that narrative to allow us to become healthier or more productive. Many years ago, one of my colleagues, Chris Bean, a brilliant clinician, did frequent trainings for new social workers. He was quoted by many of us after a particularly memorable description of this work on changing our narratives as the cheesy positive reframe, a humorous but not completely inaccurate explanation for something deeper and more transformative than simply finding the silver lining in dark times. The phrase cheesy positive reframe has stuck with me for almost 30 years and still makes me smile and remind myself that there is always another perspective and not to wallow in victimhood for very long. Our small group read Happiness is an Inside Job by Sylvia Boorstein, a wonderful and very wise Buddhist teacher. In it, she writes about being on a ski trip with her extended family, reflecting briefly about the changes in her aging body. She felt both sadness and regret about being unable to hurtle down the slopes as she had decades earlier. Her moments of gratitude came with the focus on the present, the glorious day, the colors and sights that she watched from the lodge, the laughter and interactions with her grandchildren and others. She shared her lesson from that day, quote, "Things change. That was then, now is now. There are other pleasures I can enjoy. Everyone takes turns being able to do this or that in life. We can for a while, and then we can't. May everyone, including me, enjoy this moment." Another wise teacher, and you, Mary Pfeiffer, also writes about the physical changes we experience in her book, Women Rowing North, Navigating Life's Currents and Flourishing as We Age. While she also addresses the many ways that our failing, painful parts challenge us to find good humor and gratitude, I was particularly struck by her observations about our minds. Quote, "Most discussions about memory and cognition in older people concern deterioration and loss. But such discussions miss an important phenomenon in this change. Our minds become less cluttered and more concerned with essentials. We develop deeper and more integrated memories. Where we put our cell phones or our sunglasses is only background. In the foreground is a mix of memories about family, friends, history, turning points, and crucible moments. We may forget details, but we excel at retrieving stories. Like an old river, our memories run deep and clear. We can see the relationships between things that happened 50 years ago and the ways we react today. Our ability to make connections and distinctions grows stronger." End of quote. So much to feel grateful for. I am aware that most people in our culture complain that they feel that time is the one thing they can never get enough of. when I am tempted to pay attention to all that has changed as I age, that I have less agility, less strength, less energy, and more pain, I am also aware that I have all the time in the world, and I am grateful. There are endless moments ahead of me to walk slowly, noticing birds or wildflowers. There are moments to sit in quiet and knit for my grandchildren. And there are endless hours and days to read and learn and ponder the meaning of life. Things change. That was then, now is now. May it be so.
I remember our minister, Eric Wickstrom, said to me sometime in the 90s that it's not that everything happens for a reason. I was really glad to hear, because how could there be a good reason for kids to get cancer or people to be lonely? He said that because we are open-minded, tender-hearted humans, we can find reason, make meaning, and finally find that peace if we're willing. And you probably all know the 5 stages of grief from Elizabeth Kubler-Ross: denial, anger, bargaining, depression, acceptance. Well, originally they were meant to describe the emotions, the experience of a person who's facing his or her own terminal diagnosis, not for people enduring grief, bereavement, or change. But anyway, now we've also figured out, and she knew too, they don't happen in an order like that. Boom, 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 right? It's a jumble and a tumble. And also, many years later, Kubler-Ross and her associate realized that it's after all that jumble and tumble and struggle, there is a 6th place we can go, and that is meaning. That is not reason, like a reason for bad things, it's meaning. So how do we, meaning we, how do we get from change and sorrow or struggle to meaning or fulfillment or purpose? Something for which we are sincerely grateful, even after a terrible, no good, very bad change. I was just going to mention, you might have listened to Anderson Cooper's podcast recently. I highly recommend it. It's called All There Is, like that song that goes, is that all there is? Is that all there is? And he talks about gratitude, and he struggles with the very idea. So it's not easy, but he's working on it. So what's the good news, right? What's the good news right here, right now at First Universalist for us? I would say it is that we don't even want easy answers, right? Right? Do we want somebody to tell us how it all works, where we're going, where it ends, what comes after? Or are we more inclined to do what Rainer Maria Rilke wrote, to love the question, to live the question, and someday maybe we can live into those answers? For people in a loving UU community, change, joyful or sad, comes along with lots of love and support to explore through worship and small group meetings, readings, meditations. And we have that sacred time to explore the hard work, embrace it, embrace the mystery of our time on earth. We create spaces where we can engage in the tender work of hearing each other's call, and we can help each other find a bit of peace. That's the good news. We are not alone. We can help each other find meaning. If nothing makes sense and we can't find meaning, it's really hard to find gratitude. And when there is gratitude, there can be peace. Peace in our hearts, peace in our homes, peace we can offer to the world. So we're going to make a space now for some reflections. In your order of worship, we have 2 questions for you. You might want to pull that out. The first question is, how has your relationship with blank changed? Are you great? Second question, are you grateful for that? And why? And then there's a list of words below those questions: time, love, God, rest, nature, friends, joy, even gratitude. You can pick one of those words right now, or you can pull any word that comes into your mind and just sit with it for a minute. How has your relationship with that changed? Are you grateful for the change? And now I invite you to take your reflections and turn to a person near you, maybe somebody you know very well, somebody you've never met before, and share each one for a minute, if you like. You don't have to. How you feel about the change you were just thinking about, and if gratitude is a word that works for you with this change. So I invite you to turn to a person and share a thought about this. Trade places if you haven't. As we look back on many changes in our lives, and we know that many more are out there, let us give thanks for our questioning minds, our open hearts, and for the support of this beloved community. As we help each other find meaning and value, we can find gratitude for the changes and even the sorrows we have borne. And to paraphrase our song of thanksgiving, which we all just sang, from thee I receive sanctuary, to thee I offer safe harbor. Together we share the sunlight and shadows of change, and by this we find meaning, gratitude, and peace. May it be so.
At this time, we welcome all to share candles of joy and sorrow and concern. You may also light a candle in silence. A reminder that out of respect for the privacy of this time, we do not share the candles in our recording of the service. And if you are with us on Zoom and you have a candle you would like to share, put it in the chat and Joanna will read it to us, and I will light a candle for you. So all are welcome. Our closing prayer following candles is from Bishop Stephen Charleston. I will start from here. That is an interesting spiritual statement when you stop to think about it. It means that whatever happened before and whatever may happen in time to come, the past and the future are not the sacred space I actually inhabit. That space is right here, right now, in whatever condition I find myself. This is what I have to work with. This is where change and hope begin for me. Recognizing my location on the map of the holy is one more way that I claim my place of blessing and announce to the universe, I will start from here. And now, if you will please rise in body or spirit and join us in singing our closing hymn, number 115, God of Grace and God of Glory. And then remain standing for the unison benediction printed in your order of worship. You can belt this one out there. For those who come here seeking God, may God go with you. For those who come embracing life, may life return your affection. For those who come to seek a path, may a way be found, and the courage to take it, step by step. We invite you to sit and enjoy the postlude, and then join us downstairs for a time of fellowship.